Welcome to Money Club Mondays. It's May 16th, 2022. So time's flying. So today's I've invited on one of our affiliate partners, Mr. Ivan Ans, and I've spoken with him several times, starting last year when we first started doing some things with PhilanthroInvestors, and they've got some really new things happening right now also. And Ivan's going to be joining us on a wealth webinar coming up in the next month or so as well, I believe, Ivan, if that's correct, to talk about another opportunity that they have. But right now, today, what we're going to concentrate on, since this is Money Club Mondays and everything Private Money Club related. So if you guys know, in Private Money Club, there's a section for turnkey rentals. So that's what we're going to be talking about today primarily, are, what turnkey rentals are, what they can do for you, and how PhilanthroInvestors helps with that, and just a little bit about their company, because it's an amazing company and the mission that they're on, which is really, really cool. So I'll kind of let Ivan introduce himself, but basically a turnkey rental, we talk a lot about private money lending and passive income, and turnkey rentals almost give you a best of both worlds, because they're done in a way where it's passive, because they're essentially doing all the work for you, but you have all the benefits also of actively owning the real estate. So taking advantage of things like appreciation and tax depreciation and things like that. So we could talk about that, Ivan, as we get going here. But so we're just pivoting a little bit today away from the traditional Money Club Mondays, which is usually all about private money lending, to talk more about turnkey rentals, which I'm super excited about. So get your questions ready and we'll get this rocking and rolling. So, hey, Ivan, how's it going?
Very good, Stephen. Thank you very much for having me in your show.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, so we got a little video teed up here. Is that right?
Yes. If you share the screen and that video, that will introduce myself much faster and straight than me talking about my story for 10 minutes,
Perfect. Here we go. Let me pull this up right now and we'll hit play. All right, so it looks like this is 2 minutes long. All right.
Yes, make sure you share the sound, okay?
Yes, sir. That's for video. Right.
Ivan Ans is an Inc. 500 serial entrepreneur who has enjoyed not 1, but 2 years in the Inc. 500, now listed as 83rd of the fastest growing companies in the Inc. 500, and headed for a 3rd year. He's the founder and CEO of Capitan's Family Office, which comprise 3 strong divisions: business development, investments, and philanthropy. The business division is directed by the CEO and business strategist, Mr. Art Marin, with more than 50 years of experience ensuring Ivan's vision becomes a reality for the world. Their mission is developing and maturing businesses that have the potential to prosper, and with all the important factors of enhancing the condition of humanity. His Toyota dealerships rank as the #1 car dealership network in his state in Argentina, and expands Realty, the international real estate broker firm of the family office, is ensuring agents grow above and beyond financially and in their lives. Well known as the creator of the PhilanthroInvestor brand identity, along with his books, Ivan is constantly seeking to engage others towards the improvement of the world's most major social maladies. Housing problems, successfully addressed using housing philanthroinvesting by Equity and Help Inc., and now with its new startup, Equity and Help Ventures, opening the doors to the institutional investor to enjoy what individual investors have been experiencing for the past 7 years. Serious water conditions and scarcity are being addressed by water philanthroinvesting with Origin Clear, the water company for the new economy, and targeted to arrive in NASDAQ in 2022. Philanthroinvestor, golfer, and music lover, and having never met a person he did not love, Mr. Ivan Ans.
All right. Right. That's an excellent introduction, Ivan.
Thank you. I was texting you that it was coming not full screen, and it was coming with double sound.
Oh, could you guys hear it? Can anybody else hear it all right?
Yeah, because that's coming from your sound system.
Okay, I had it on where it was sharing the sound. It should have been coming right through everything. Yeah, it looks like it was all good, Ivan.
Really?
It's good here. It sounded good. Yeah, they're saying that sounded good.
Oh, maybe it sounded good for everybody, right?
Yeah, I think we're good to go, my
then
friend.
it was something on my system.
Yeah,
okay, good.
Yeah, I think we're good to go.
Awesome. Great, Stephen. So yeah, so that's my story and what I have done with my family office, and mainly focusing on PhilanthroInvestors. I have different CEOs for every one of my companies, and that's basically what we are expanding with the concept of doing good by doing well, or doing well by doing good. You know, on both sides. And focusing on the housing side of it with Equity and Help. Equity and Help has a very interesting system in it, because what it allows, Stephen, is to connect the investors, make them philanthro lenders. You see, like if you acquire my book on Amazon that I just launched, Housing Philanthro Investing, it talks about the 6 different hats of the investor. And the 6 different hats of the investors are the leaser, the lender, the holder, the enhancer, the trader, and the entrepreneur. So in housing philanthro investing, which you can also paste, if you go to Amazon and you search for housing philanthro investing, you will find the book there. But in housing philanthro investing, the philanthro investors are becoming lenders in this case, and are becoming also holders. So you have the leaser, who is someone, and the entrepreneur is very easy, because he's someone that uses his time and his money to create an enterprise, and that's why he's an investor. The leaser is the one that takes the asset, right, and then puts the asset to work for a rent in exchange. And there is many things that can be leased. Even gold can be leased today. It's not only land, real estate, cars. You can lease even gold. And so you are the leaser. But then the lender holds the title, holds the asset as a security, right? And then, of course, gives a loan to someone with interest. So now it's interesting, the position of the lender, because the position of a lender, mostly in real estate, it gives you the possibility of not the necessity of having what I call the most valuable thing that an investor can have, which is the attention, the space on his mind. Let's call it attention, right? So that attention, or having the attention free of, oh, I need to fix this in the property, or the tenant had something that broke, or my property management company is calling me and I need this extra expense to do, or the air condition broke, or I need to pay the property taxes, or now the property taxes went higher, and so the property management is calling me, or all the different expenses that are related to being a leaser on real estate are gone away when you put yourself in the same position than the Fed has today. The Fed is the #1 mortgage notes holder in the planet, and is the #1 gold holder in the planet. So if you see what the Fed is doing, they are owning mortgage notes and they are owning gold. Well, why? Because they know that that's much better position than being a landlord. That's much better position than owning the real estate and dealing with tenants and property management and so on. So what we put the philanthro investor, and you will all learn more in my book if you get it, is that there is two ways to be in a lender. It's just to be in a lender as a bank does, and the bank is literally treating the families as numbers. Or you can be a philanthro lender. And what is that, being a philanthro lender? Well, the philanthro lender has two parts in it. The first part is when the philanthro investor is buying the real estate, which you can do yourself or you can do through Equity and Help if you want the Done With You program, right? Because if you read my book, you can do it yourself, right? You can apply everything that is in my book. Or you can just contact Equity and Help and they will do it with you. And the key thing here is that you will be able to acquire the properties at around 55% below the after repair value. And then once you acquire that property, then we are not going to go turn around and be a trader of switching this asset back to a family for 100% of its value, but we are going to touch the philanthropic viewpoint a little bit. Because a philanthro investor is someone who invests his time and money engaging emotionally, and this is the most important part, Stephen, to promote human welfare while earning a financial return. So when you are becoming a philanthro investor in that sense with housing, you are buying the house for $55,000, but then instead of selling it for $100,000, investing, let's say, $10,000 and being an enhancer, of putting your enhancer hat of the investor and then putting the trader hat and then trading it for cash for $100,000. Instead of doing that, you are just putting your philanthropic viewpoint a little bit here and say, hey, I am going to give 30% of equity to this family that will walk into this house. And they will walk in if they comply with the agreement with 30,000 of equity or 30% of equity, because you pay the house of 55,000 and then we sell it to the family for 70,000 and they come with sweat equity and they start improving the house. So, and then you become a philanthro lender. And what happens when you become a philanthro lender? If a family, for example, says one day, well, you know, they call Equity and Help and they say, listen, guys, I just had a situation. I lost my job. I had a baby. I need to buy the school supplies for the kids. And I had a medical situation, things that, you know, life, right? Things that happen in life. And they call and they are late more than 90 days in a payment. Then you as a philanthro investor engage yourself emotionally, which is much more financial freedom. And it's the only way to create freedom is being engaged with your investment, not just receiving passive income and laying out in a beach. That's not financial freedom. But you know, you engage emotional with your investment, with the result of your investment, which is the people, the effect that it creates in the people in life, not just the money. The money is just a piece of paper, right? So, and then you engage emotionally with them, with the investment itself, and you say, hey, you know what? You're late 90 days. I will give you some extra time. I will increase your monthly payment for, let's say, $10 a month, and I will put you will become current again in your loan. Or I will send these late payments of 3 months to the end of the loan, so now you will have 243 payments instead of 240. Or because you have done a so much well job in the house, I will gift you these 3 payments or one of these 3 payments. Or because it's Christmas, I will give you this monthly payment. I will gift you a monthly payment for you, and I will take a deduction, you know, in my taxes because you didn't get that payment, so you just write it off, and then you help that family with that money to have a Christmas tree for their family. So, and at the same time, you as a philanthropy investor in average, because we have right now like a little bit over $50 million in this program in housing philanthropy investing, then you just are doing this philanthropy investing, and overall they are getting like around 11.4%, which is the cap rate, and 25.6% is the average equity gain. And you are creating a wonderful effect in the humanity, in the world. And, you know, that gives you fulfillment, which adds to your true financial freedom, which is one of the chapters of my book, Stephen. And if you can share with everybody this video that I just sent you, so they have some reality of what they are creating for these families, it will be absolutely phenomenal. While I look for the last tier sheet from the last quarter from Equity and Help, so we can also share it with them.
There you go. Yes, we'll share that video on there. We don't want to play that now, right? Just let people watch that later.
I mean, it's a 2 minutes video. If
okay.
It's good for me to explain a little, to show the reality while I am, but you need to share the sound and make the video go full screen.
Yeah, well, okay, here we go. Let me share it. Perfect. Which one? This one. Sorry, let me just make sure I got the sound. Okay.
Been here for
almost
3 years now.
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 years.
3 years. And it's home. It feels like home. This is home. And we still, and the most fun part is we still got stuff with things that we want to do. Be more creative. Turn this into that, move this around, we live all around. South Boston, Virginia, and then Philly. It feels good to be able to call your house a home. You know what I mean? And it's a difference. It's a very big difference to be able to paint a wall green if you like, or paint a wall brown or tan or whatever, which I have a lot of colors going on. So I work for families, taking care of their loved ones. And Harry is building maintenance. He's been with his company for 26 years. So that comes in handy with this house too, his building maintenance knowledge. I've heard of in-house financing. You can see it on the internet when you go searching for like different things. But I've never heard of a program like this. That's the difference between trying to find a landlord to work with you so you can have a place to stay versus a whole company. Right. You know what I mean? That specializes in helping home people who most likely wouldn't be able to get a traditional mortgage. Mm-hmm. So you know what I mean? And to help them actually be homeowners. But yeah, it was a fun experience. The game room came from the 17-year-old. I tried to be colorful. We called one room the gold room, one room the red room. So that came from my daughter. So, and then we kind of got carried away with it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I love it, Ivan.
Yes, that's basically the results that we are creating. That are the families. And I send you a list, Stephen, of many housing philanthropy investors. Testimonials.
All right, hang on. I'm not sure where that's coming from.
All these distractions that we have to deal with on a daily basis.
I think you stop it now. There is some video rolling on that. So anyway, while Stephen fixed that to the audience, that's basically the system that we have in place. And I want to show you now, so you can see here in my screen, what is the let me take this out here. Okay, so this is the last term sheet for Equity and Health, which is the company that can done with you, is done with you housing philanthropy investing, so you can grow your capital while helping families own their home. In this case, we have 50 million of assets recovered and 25.91% of average equity gain. This is Q1 2022, 11.69% of average cap rate. We have, the company has 7 years. We have recovered 650 plus homes from auction houses, banks, and so on, in 369 cities and 34 states. The average investor price that the investor paid for these houses were $45,000 with an average after repair value of $74,000. And this is the collection graphs. We are distributing, now an average of $2 million to our philanthropy investors every single year. And this is another interesting information. The average monthly payment for the families between principal and interest is $589.74. So they are living in their own homes for this amount of money every month, where the average rent today is more like closer to the $1,500. The best sellers, we have like these 650 plus homes. I will say 20% of the homes are in these 3 states, Illinois, Ohio, and Indiana, even though we are in 34 states. And then this is another important information for you to have. 75.39% of the families pay current. They are current. 9.65% pay late but under 90 days, and 14.96% pay late but more than 90 days. Now, this is where your philanthropic side of philanthropy investing comes on the way, because, including with all of these numbers, including with these late fees and the families paying late, the entire portfolio in average is producing 11.69%. Now, the key part here is that if you want to be the one that are doing the philanthropic aspect of it and you are helping the family, you can, okay? You can do it. And if you cannot do it because you really need the cash flow, then we have a global philanthropic fund that says, okay, you're a philanthropy investor, we are going to help the family up to 90 days of late payments. This global philanthropic fund will give you the cash, and they will finance to the families with no collateral, with no credit check, with nothing, just pure philanthropy at 0% interest rate for 15 months. And the family can pay or not pay the global philanthropic fund, but if they don't pay, then they will not receive, they will not receive the help again in the future. And that's the only way that this global philanthropic fund has in order to support you, the investor, if the families are late for 90 days. And that's basically the reality of the system and so on. So I will pass it to you now, Stephen, to ask me more questions or anything you may want to let the people, the audience, ask questions.
Yeah, it's well, first off, it's really cool. Especially right now with housing just being out of control of pricing and people being being priced out of the housing market in so many places. I think it's great, what you guys are doing, helping people get into home ownership, because it is such a good feeling, especially for a lot of families, that haven't been able to in the past. So I love all that. I guess my question would be, so you're talking about like philanthro lenders and then the equity and help the homes. So are those two separate things? Like you guys are doing the turnkey if you want to own the homes, but you also have just straight lending, or are you kind of talking about those together? I guess if you could clarify for me, that was the only thing I didn't really understand.
Okay. No,
I know you have so much going on too. And so I just want to make sure I have everything together,
Totally fine, Stephen. So the philanthropy investor is the person itself. Is your audience here that says now they come and they buy the homes, okay? And as they buy the homes, then they hold the title and then they sell the homes through equity and help. Using the equity and help service, they sell the home to a family. And as they sell the home to the family, they become a philanthropy lender for that family specifically. So they become the lender long-term to that family that will be paying them over 20 years, but the principal that the cost of what they purchased the home originally, that principal, it gets normally recovered between 6 and 7 years, even that the loan is for 20 years. So it's a very unique model. And the portfolio is performing close to 12% right now for the investors in cap rate. And there is the average equity gain, which is a 25% that happens in the first year. Why it happens in the first year in the system is because you purchase the house first, the investor purchases the house, and then the average that it's sold to the family is 25% more than what the investor paid. And now the family will be paying the interest rate on that new price, not on the price that the investor paid. So we give a long-term cap gain to the investor because the sale happened in an installment sale long-term, and that's why it's a long-term capital gain. And we also give interest income coming back to the investor from this family that they start paying them every single month. And that is the 11.69% that the average portfolio has performed last year, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
And I have a video that explains it all. I will paste it here in the chat so you can give it to them. Let me see if I can. There is a video of 5 minutes that summarizes the entire system, so you can share it with the audience here. Give me just a second.
Yeah, and I got some questions I'll ask you, and then also if anybody on here right now, if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat or the Q&A, and let's have Ivan answer those. And then I'll also post the page if anybody wants to connect with Ivan and his team. There's also a video on this page too that I just posted. So if anyone wants to connect with Ivan, I believe that page still works, right, Ivan? That's still a good one.
Yes, let me check this. So you have PhilanthroInvestors.com, private money CLU. Okay.
Oh, hold on. Don't click the link I sent. Actually, I marked the end off. Okay, here we go. This one right here. All right. So Ivan, so if somebody comes to you, like how much money should they have? Like what you guys have, like a minimum that you want to work with, or what's that look like?
Yes. The minimum for housing philanthropy investing right now is 3 houses for around 120, 130,000. You know, it varies because the prices of the homes, but that's the average price. They are buying 3 houses for 45,000 each, 45,000 each. And then, yeah, that's basically it. So 3 houses. And the after repair value for that 3 houses will be around 200K, but they are paying 125,000, 130,000. Okay.
So they'll want to have about 125,000. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what is needed to as the minimum required for the equity and help done with you program. We require a minimum of 3 homes, and they will see all of that in the video.
Okay.
That I just sent.
Right. Okay. Perfect. All right. Let me see. Here's a question. What are the average home prices?
45,000.
Okay. Yeah, so little starter homes in those communities. I mean, just like little starter homes for people, right? First home, starter homes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you think about like what let me think, like what Dwight is doing or what Steve Lawson is doing up in Indianapolis. I mean, it's similar to that. I mean, those guys are going out, they're doing a lot of the owner finance, seller finance. They're getting people in homes, lease option type stuff, Ivan, and really helping people kind of, have that ability of having a home ownership without having to really go through the whole process. What you guys are doing, you guys are just taking it to a whole nother level and working with the investors to make it all happen where they actually own it.
That's correct.
And totally not every state, they're in 36 states, I believe you said, and but primarily 3 states, which I believe were Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio. Is that right, Evan?
No. We are in 34 states. That are the top 3. That are the ones that have the most amount of houses in a ranking. But it's just 20% of the portfolio is in that 3 states.
Oh, okay.
That's basically it. Yes. And the other 33 states, you know, are in the other 80% of the portfolio.
Gotcha. All right, perfect. All right, what questions do you guys have? Come on, let's it's like a quiet group. I think they're all sleeping today, Ivan.
Well, maybe we share the information very clearly, and
absolutely. We have a lot of lenders on here, so I know you guys are looking for opportunities. I mean, I'm trying to think, like, what's your, you know, so after they buy the first group of 3 homes, I mean, you know, how long does that process usually take? Or, you know, is it over like several months? You know, it takes to find houses. Do you have these houses lined up, ready to go? Like, what's that kind of look like?
Okay, so basically the process looks like this. The person that is interested needs to get with Wendy through the form that you just sent in the PhilanthroInvestors website. And then Wendy will do a pre-qualification with them and see if they, you know, pre-qualify. And then after that, they will be set with the discovery call with our housing PhilanthroInvestor consultant, and they will receive a much more deep conversation presentation than what I've done today, and they will understand much more deep the system, and they will ask all the necessary questions. And then after that, they will complete an account opening form with Equity and Help. And that, by the way, Equity and Help is an Inc. 500 company for 3 years in a row right now. The company is position number 83 is the fastest growing companies in the US, and number 3 on the fastest real estate companies growing in the US. So that's another thing you should know. But anyway, so Equity and Help, you complete the account opening form, and as you complete the account opening form, you answer like around 10 questions that let the PhilanthroInvestor consultant know if this is a good match for you, if we will be a good match relation, and it is a whole qualification, much more deep qualification that happens there. The investor gives a $1,000 deposit that goes to escrow, that is then used in the future to purchase homes. And then it funds the escrow account with the amount of money that he wants to buy homes for. So let's say that he's going to buy 3 homes. So he funds the escrow with 135 or 130,000. Then it goes into a waiting list, because we are receiving properties, and we have properties coming through inventory all the time, Stephen. And how they are coming through inventory is because, and why this process works, as you know, Stephen, one of my companies is a Toyota dealerships network.
Right.
So I have been personally trained in Japan, traveled to Japan, understand all the Toyota culture, systems, processes, and so on. So Equity and Help work with a lot of that Japanese processes and systems. And one of them is the just-in-time, which was created by the Japanese. So what we do with the just-in-time is that we have investors, like we have ambassadors in 16 countries of the world, that they are bringing us PhilanthroInvestors to Equity and Help. So let's say that this week there is $500,000 coming to the escrow account, and last week was another 1 million, and the week before was 300,000 or whatever, just to give you a number. So that means that the first come, first serve, because the houses are coming in a process, which is the just-in-time process. We're buying the houses as the demand raises, as more account opening forms happen to exist in the company from more PhilanthroInvestors. And then these investors are coming and they are funding the escrow account, and at the same time, like imagine 2 pipelines running at the same, 2 funnels running at the same time. So there is money coming to escrow from PhilanthroInvestors, and there is houses coming from banks. And they go and we take them through the prehab process, because we do some basic repairs in the homes before we sell them to the PhilanthroInvestor. So they are coming through the process, and then, you know, the home, then there is a point that you are in the line, it's your turn. Normally it's like never more than 2 or 3 weeks, okay? So it's your turn. So the PhilanthroInvestor consultant will call you and say, Mr. Stephen Nagy, you are a PhilanthroInvestor. Now there is available properties in inventory. That is your turn. So these are 10 properties, and you're going to select 3 or 4 or 5 from these 10. And then you go and you select the properties based on a bunch of indicators that they show you, the system. You know, this is all custom-made software that has been done for the company in the last 7 years. And we call it the equity and health matrix. And then it filters all of these properties, because we are receiving 10,000 properties per month from different sources, and we process them through the equity and health matrix, and it gives us the cherry pick, the cherry of the cake, of the dessert, right?
Yeah.
So then we show that to the investor, and the investor selects the ones that he likes, and then he signs the contracts, the purchasing contracts, and now he owns the houses, and now the money goes from escrow to equity and help, and then and that's it. And then now the homes are put into the market, and then advertising to the market for sale to families, and then families call. We have around I will say right now 500 600 families a week calling us on demanding for this program, which we call the Easy Homes program in equity and help. And then we are matching the houses with the philanthropy investors and these families to create what we call the happy home. And a happy home is a home that was abandoned before and now has life and light and families, and is bringing life back to a neighborhood, and is decreasing criminality. And that's kind of our mission in equity and help. One family at a time, one home at a time.
Awesome, man. I love systems and processes, so that's really cool.
Exactly.
So a couple questions. How is the lender paid? Is it monthly?
Yes, it is monthly, and it comes from, you receive a report that is very detail oriented. It has 4 pages every month with a report, and you have 30 minutes a month with your philanthropy investor consultant assigned if you want to use it, because you want to go over making some decisions. Because one of the key things, Stephen, is that we put the investor in the CEO to be the CEO of his own portfolio. Right. So he makes the key material decisions, because we want him to be engaged on that point. And the only thing that we request is that the philanthropy investor reads the report once a month and gets in a call with one of our philanthropy investor consultants to decide what will happen the next month, like how we're going to help this other family. There is a home that is there in the market, and we need to decrease, $1,000 or $2,000 the price because it's not getting much interest. Things like that, all in the final decision from the philanthropy investor. And that's why we have that 30 minutes a month. Yes, and together with that report, you can decide to withdraw your money, or you can just decide that Equity and Health would send you the money every month, or leave it in the account and accumulate it until you have enough to buy another home. We have all over the different investors that do different things.
Okay. Are most people investing from like a company, like an LLC, or individuals are fine, or?
Both works. We have investors that have invested from offshore corporations, from LLCs, from C Corps, from their own self-directed IRA, which we can help totally set up. We also are fully set up for 1031 exchanges, when you sell a real estate and you have a lot of capital gain and you want to reinvest it into real estate and defer that capital gain tax. We also are set up for 1031 exchange, and so we can connect it with our 1031 exchange team. We are set up, as I told you, for self-directed IRAs to own these homes. So you can also be investing from an IRA. Or we have people that do it individually on their own name. So it depends your situation, and our philanthropy investor consultant is the one that will determine with you, the best thing to do there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we talk a lot about self-directed IRAs on here, and I know a lot of people on here right now are looking for different ways to get those self-directed IRAs going. And I mean, this sounds like a great way for that, just because you guys do help so much with the process and getting it all set up the right way. And sometimes it's self-directed, that can get complicated. So that's a huge plus right there. And then, a lot of our lenders also are, coming from their own privatized banking policies, their infinite banking whole life policies. And so this will be a great use for that too, because they're keeping that spread, the long-term aspect. And so those are all, that's all really good stuff right there.
Yes. And also the infinite banking, also we have many clients that do that. They have their money in their insurance policies, and then from there they take a loan, and then they buy the 3 houses from there. And we can help, with the setup of as I told you before, on the 1031 exchanges and self-directed IRAs, like it's done with you, the process. So we want you also to be learning about it and so on. But it's pretty nice. Like the company being established now for almost 8 years has a lot of systems and processes in place that make it really robust.
Right. Do you have homes in Arizona?
We don't go beyond this is something very key, beyond the middle line of the country. We go, like, all the states are to the right, not to the left.
Okay.
So if you cut the line in Utah and Arizona, all of that, if you just cut the country in the middle, all the houses are towards the east, not to the west. Okay. And the reason for that is there is not much demand of the public on that area of the west for this program. And then we also find that property taxes are much more expensive. So it will not be this level of public. The model will need to be changed a little bit for the states on the west, which we are exploring on doing, but we are not yet there. And another key thing, Stephen, that we are setting up also is the corporate 401ks. I am working to be able to set up for the company also for 401k corporate to be able to be the employees to decide to do housing philanthropy investing with the corporate 401k. So that's things that are rolling for the future. It will take another 3 or 6 months to have it ready, but yeah, that's another thing that for your audience to learn.
Yeah, that's really cool. Let's see, what happens if the client homeowner defaults even after the assistance is given?
If it happens even after the assistance given, this is very key, and you will learn it in my book also. We have 2 types of families. We have good intention families and we have bad intention families. So the good intention families is very easily, because once the family really say, hey guys, I cannot pay, I will not be able to continue with this, I really cannot. They are just good intention families. They give you the key, that's it. The home comes back to you, and we run the process all over again from scratch, which is finding, pre-having the home again, putting it ready for the next family, and just putting it back in the market and finding the new family, and you start from scratch. The bad intention families are the ones that we have right now, around 10% in the company history of the families that default. So that's the approximate rate, around 10-11% of families that default. So with that ones that default, like we need to foreclose and take the family out, right? These are bad intention families. So we have a whole process for that. And it goes, how we know that there is a bad intention family is because they don't answer the phone, they don't answer the email, they don't answer the letters that we send, nothing. So what we need to arrive to a point when we get in communication with them, the first step is to try to get them out with the program that we call Cash for Keys. So the investor will offer like $500 for the family to leave the home. If the family say no, $700. If the family say no, $1,000. I think that's the max that we have done in Cash for Keys, like $1,000. And then what happens, Stephen, is that we, with the Cash for Keys, let's say that doesn't work, then now we need to go through traditional foreclosure. We send we have a team of lawyers across the country. We work with the company that we centralize all of that, so we can work all very professionally. And then it goes to the certain lawyer in the area, and then the lawyer takes the process. And the longest time that this have taken was 6 months. So that's that's the downside of the program, we can say, right? But the house is there. The house is the title is in your name. It's your house. We have never had a situation where the family will not come out of the house. We have even sent, the lawyers will send the sheriff of the city to go. Like, as more bad intention the family is, more bad we need to become, because we are trying to help them, but we are not going to be, something that I learned in the past is that how you create a criminal is by giving them things and don't allowing the person to be back in exchange with you.
Right.
So you know how you create just get your kid and give him everything that he wants in life 100% of the times, everything that, doesn't matter if it's good or bad, just give him everything and don't let him contribute to your home or to your family. You're going to be creating a bad boy for the future because he don't understand the rules of exchange on giving, when you receive something, paying it back, right? So that's how criminals are really created. And if we do that with the families, we will be contributing on creating criminality. So when they are bad intention families, we really want to also use all our tools and laws and everything to really take it off of their house. And in some of the points, Stephen, it may happen that the family change their mind and say, oh guys, sorry, I was so bad. I want to really do good with this, here is $300. Please forgive me, this will never happen again. Right. And then now it's up to the philanthropy investor to decide based on the history if he wants to keep that family in or not.
Right. If it goes to the fact of getting lawyers involved in foreclosures and do you guys have kind of like, is that cost, is that built into it, or is that like extra cost to go through that process?
Yeah, there is the cost from the lawyer and so on that also ranges between $1,000 to $3,000. That's our experience. Okay, but remember that happens only. Listen, 10% of the families have default, right? Like we needed to be evicted in the company history, or close to 11%. And then from that, I will say that less than 20% of that, so less than 2%, are the bad intention families.
Right.
Most of people is naturally good. They either leave the house, they try to work out with our team and so on.
Right.
So it hasn't been the majority of cases, you see, like that's that.
Yeah. So the worst case, you get stuck with one of those. It's not the end of the world though. So no big deal.
Exactly. And that's the reason why we ask a minimum of 3 homes, Stephen, because
right.
we don't want you to buy one home and then that one home is one bad intention family, right. Which in paper look good when we did the initial qualification and due diligence of the family. When we qualify the family, it looked good, but then it was really bad intention family, right? Or they change in the middle or something, right? Mm-hmm. So we do our best for that, and we have a team of more than 230 independent contractors in 34 states, and around right now like 30 employees, like full-time employees in our headquarters in the Tampa Bay area, with our CEO, all our C-suite level. It's an organization with 5 different divisions. It has a quality control division, and so on. And Ben, if you can send to the group here chat the equity and health video that show the offices, it will be great. So they can see the office and all the team and the process and how it works, and get to meet the staff, right? Because it's not just me, Ivan, the founder, just here. It's a whole team behind.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Where are you guys located again, Ivan?
In Tampa Bay area, in the Bank of America, in the Bank of America Tower.
Okay.
In the seventh floor. You guys are welcome to come and visit, take an office tour, if you feel more comfortable that way, and so on. You will see the office in the video that Wendy will post here in a moment, and so on.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's really cool. And then so you mentioned your book a couple times. Where can we find the book?
The book, let me just put the link there right away.
Yeah.
So you can. It's on Amazon, of course. The book is on Amazon, okay. and in Barnes and Nobles, and in all the stores that is all over the world. But let me just see here if I can find the book here.
And while he's putting that in, if anybody has any last minute questions, and what we'll do is we'll get this wrapped up. And if you guys want to contact Ivan and Wendy and start exploring if this is right for you, I posted a link on here a couple times for you guys to check out. It's also in the back office. It's also on privatemoneyclub.com. For those of you that are Private Money Club members, you can get it right on there, but I'll post in the links again right now. And then I was just looking, I believe it's June 8th. Wednesday, Ivan, I believe, will be back, and we're going to be talking about another venture that they have going on right now, dealing with water. Right, Ivan, you want to give like maybe just a little preview on what you guys are doing with that?
Yes, I started PhilanthroInvestors in 2007. Okay, and I started down in Argentina, which is where I was born, and then I expanded PhilanthroInvestors, and the investors were at that time helping families with land acquisition for their home. And then in 2012, I started exploring expansion in the US, and we launched in 2014 in the US. And in 2019, I was taking a shower one day, Stephen, and I received like a God revelation. And that God revelation was Ivan. He tells me, I didn't give you the PhilanthroInvestor brand and the idea just to help families live in their own homes. There is much more other problems in the world that I gave you the PhilanthroInvestor brand concept and the vision in order to put your efforts and your abilities and talents to solve them. And he tells me about water, and I start researching, and I discovered that 6,000 kids die from water-related diseases every single day. And I discovered that 80% of water is released untreated into the planet. And I discovered that 1% of the water is only being recycled in the US. And I discovered that the structure is really crumbling. And I discovered that in the next decade will be 3 million jobs needed in the water industry in order for the water to be having quality in the drinking quality water.
Right.
And I researched more, and I discovered that the budget just for the US to be able to provide quality water in the next decade is like 300 billion, but the US budget is only 60 billion. So the only one that can solve it is the private sector. So I researched until I joined venture with the company to connect investors with the humanitarian cost of improving water quality in the world and saving water, because we spend 51 liters a day in average per person in the planet. We consume 51 liters a day. But what about if we can recycle more than 51 liters a day as each human being? That will put us in a position where everybody can literally be in exchange with the planet, because I am doing more for water than what water does for me. And that's what we're going to talk in the next webinar, Stephen.
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited to learn more about that. Yeah, that'll be on Wealth Webinar Wednesdays at on June 8th, I believe it is. Somebody can hop on there too. All right, I just shared a couple more videos that Vendy had sent over. I'm not sure which one's which, but I'll put them in here if anybody wants to copy and paste those.
Lots of videos.
Yeah, I feel like I've shared a lot of videos on here, but we got there's a bunch on that PhilanthroInvestors.com/private money club. There's some on there too. I think it might have some of those all on the one page, but put that on there too. One more time. All right.
So, yeah, see if you have any other questions from the audience, and so we can answer more questions, and very smart questions that your audience is asking, Stephen. So just check, and I will be willing to answer them, right?
Yeah, I don't see anything else coming in. I think that I think you did a pretty good job explaining it all, Ivan. I mean, it definitely clarified what you guys are doing a little bit for me. I knew you have a lot going on, so kind of bringing it together here. It makes a lot of sense, though. I mean, I love the philanthropy side. I love the real estate angle, obviously. And I mean, 11% average returns at 25% equity in the first year is a great, I mean, that's great returns in this market right now. Now, are you guys, I guess last thing I could ask, with the raising interest rates, with the changing market, that a lot of people are saying is coming and things like that. Are you guys kind of staying on top of that, or what are your thoughts on what's going to be happening?
Well, I will share with you a graph now to answer that question. As you know, I love to share a screen and show videos and show things, right? So let me share that. Give me just a second.
And while you're sharing that, I know you work with Dr. Vaughn too, right? Duck Vaughn, Dr. Duck?
Well, Bendy is the one that knows. Yeah, I know that Dr.
Okay.
Bong is one of our philanthropy investors for sure. I haven't met him personally, but I know he works with the Equity and Help team.
Gotcha. Yeah, some people, we have a lot of cross people that kind of follow Duck V, and I'm good friends with him myself. Now, are you guys doing little houses too, or is that something else that he's doing? Do you know?
I think that he's using the Equity and Help system. That's all that he's doing. That's what
Yeah,
I
I know
understand.
that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. So basically, people that goes through him is like coming through you to learn about. It's
Right.
kind of the same thing.
Right.
So give me just a second so I can share this with you now, this graphic, because if you see this screen here, this is the number one. Latin American real estate Latin American magazine. Okay, it's called Immobiliary, and it says what to do with the U.S. dollars while the actual crisis. And this was 2020. So they asked me to write an article, and in the magazine in 2020. And here it shows. Listen, this is 150 years report from Atlas. Okay, so this 150 years, the average annual return, the one that wins is housing. And it's adjusted for inflation, and it's beyond equities, bonds, and treasury bills. And then on the other side, let me show you, this is the other graph I want to show. Median single family home price in America, 1953, 2019. So if you look at this graph, look at the median home price. Goes up, 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 up. It's always going up. It's always going up. The only moment that went down was 2008, 2012. And that's the only one time that was not good to have real estate. But if you bought real estate in 2007 or 6, right? All that you needed to wait for the price to stabilize again was to 2015, right? So, okay, you lose, like, it was 7 years of having that money. But in the meanwhile, if they are cash flowing and so on, I mean, that's what I like to look for. I like to look to this blue graph, which is a median home price. And then you see, and it goes, well, that's where it's going. And another note, which is very unique that you need to look at, is that in Equity and Help, you are buying homes that are in an area of pricing that doesn't have much fluctuation. First of all, you buy the homes 45% below the after repair value. So let's say that our investors bought homes in 2006. They bought here. They bought in this, like, this crash was 21% of the pricing, right? But the investors in Equity and Help buy for 45% below. So they already bought below the biggest crisis on the entire history of real estate market in the US. I mean, not the entire history, but from 1953.
Right.
So it's already, like, well enough. I mean, you are accessing these properties for 45% below the after repair value. And that makes it really, really, really good. And then on another note, I want to show you there is an article here on Entrepreneur. If you go entrepreneur.com Ivanance in Google, you will be able to see a very interesting article that I wrote, basically my story on how PhilanthroInvestors was born and so on, right? Cool. And yeah, so also if you want to search for Forbes Ivanance, you will see an article on Forbes about me. It's for Forbes Latin America also, because it's my main community there and so on. But this is Forbes, and you can learn everything about my whole story. It says the story of the Argentinian that arrived to the US without speaking English and today makes business with 14 countries.
Yeah,
which is true. I self-taught English myself. So just doing business and expanding.
That's amazing. Very cool. But I think you nailed it on the head. I mean, that, when you look at real estate, you look at market swings and ups and down and volatility, and you want to look at different asset classes and affordable housing, smaller price stuff, like you said, your average house is 45,000. Like that's the stuff that is least affected. And, you know, people that are losing their $200,000 and $300,000 homes, they still have to live somewhere. So a lot of times they're forced to downsize or buy lower price stuff, or, you know, maybe things they wouldn't be able to communicate. And then the number two thing you said there that really struck with me is, you know, you guys are still buying homes well below what the after repair value is. And that's what people always complain about right now in this market is I can't find the deals. I can't find the deals. You know, only the people making money are the ones that can find the deals. Well, you guys clearly have the deals. So you're in the right asset class, in my opinion, if things do start to turn or if things do start to slow down and pull back. And then on top of that, you're getting the deals that you need to have whenever this stuff happens. So it's a beautiful thing, Ivan. I absolutely love what you guys are doing in all manners.
Thank you, Stephen. Yeah, because I researched this market for the last 20 years. And even before I started the model, I did the research for the 15 years before that. And it was always able to work, always able to work. Like the system will be always able to find the property that we need, that we want for this market. It's a very unique niche. And, you know, you can just literally read my book and just go by your own and just do it because my book will teach you everything you need to know. But coming with Equity and Health gives you that 8 years of experience and done with you, you know, and walking with you the path with using all of these 8 years of background. So yeah, you are invited to connect with us and join us and so on.
Well, that's awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate your time today, Ivan. I think this was really good. It looks like we got all the questions answered, and I'm sure you'll have some people reaching out that are going to want to chat with you and your team and learn more and be part of the PhilanthroInvestor mission, because it's a really beautiful one. And like I said, make sure you guys join us again on June 8th for the wealth webinar at 1 Eastern. And Ivan will be back. I believe you'll be there, Ivan. And we're going to be talking about more about the water side of the investing and what you can do to really help, you know, as the world continues to change. I mean, the world's an ever changing place and natural resources become more and more scarce. So it's very important.
That's totally correct. And for your audience that do not have 125,000 available, 130, it's not yet, and it will be long term. It's more like for next year or so. But we are going to open a fund for people to be able to invest a smaller amount of money and do the same, right? They will not own the real estate in this case. They will own a share in a fund. But, you know, if you don't have the 125,000, I need to, you know, be able to share with you the possibility of being a philanthropy investor. Because if you want to help families, I need to be able to give you that service of you be able to help these families. And if you have like, I have 20,000 and I want to help these families and I cannot, that's what I'm working on for next year. So if you don't have the capability of buying 3 homes that you will own, that you will have title in it, just also complete the form, and Bendy, just tell that in the form to Bendy, and Bendy will put you in the lineup, you know, for next year when we have the fund ready, and we'll contact you and so on.
Awesome. Very cool, Ivan. Well, I love that too. So I appreciate your time, sir, and everything that you're doing, your mission that you're on. And thanks everybody for being here, and we'll see you guys next week. Any last things, Ivan?
Yeah, just if you listen to this webinar, you like it, you want to invite me to, you know, send me an invite to my Facebook account, follow me on Instagram, or send me an invite on LinkedIn. I will accept you with my hands and arms open, so we can develop more of a, you know, also friendship relation in the future. Instagram is Ivanance IG, and then LinkedIn and Facebook, they are just Ivanance.
Awesome. All right, Ivan, Bendy, thank you guys. Have a great day.
I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. We're putting up tons of them, but I think if you like this one, you'll probably like that video as well. Click that alert button, actually smash that alert button, and you'll be notified every time we put a new video. So we'll see you on the next episode.